I recently refound these dice, and this is totally off topic of what the video is, but like, they've been a great fidget thing. I've been obsessed with them. I like these metal D20s. Had them for ages back when I played D&D. But they're a great fidget, a little fidget toy. But yeah, let's get into the video. What is up, YouTube? Back with another video. This week I wanted to talk about how I stay motivated creatively and a few different tips that I have that work for me and they might work for you. So I have 3 tips on how I stay creatively motivated. So I feel like that's the best way of explaining it, because it's more than just staying motivated in general. I feel like trying to stay motivated when it's a creative field is kind of a different beast to tackle. So I have 3 different tips that I try. Tip number 1 is just taking a break. So this could be stepping away from the work for 5 to 10 minutes. You could go make yourself a coffee, walk around the house, just take a breather, step away, and then come back at it. This kind of works for me if I've been on a project for a while and I'm kind of hit like a bit of a dry spot or struggling to see where I should take the project next. Really helps to just clear your head. You come back, you might see something that you didn't see earlier, and then you can reattack that project. Also, it can be more than this. If you've been working on a project for a while or you're really struggling to come up with the next project, sometimes you just got to take like a full day off, maybe a week off, just some time away from being creative to kind of recharge and reset yourself. I found that if I'm really struggling for ideas, sometimes taking a full day off to go play some video games, watch a TV show, work out, get out in nature. Like Monday, I spent the day out, went for a walk, and took that whole day to kind of clear my head, and definitely came back feeling more re-energized, feeling more motivated again. Got this like creative energy flowing. Sometimes it takes that. Sometimes you've got to take a full day away from what you're doing, completely do something different, and reset yourself that way. Which kind of leads me on to my second point, which is absorbing inspiration. So like I said in the first point, like you might take some time off, go play some video games, go watch a TV show. I've been watching the F1 Drive to Survive? I can't remember the title of it. The F1 Netflix series. Recently been watching that, and sometimes I find that doing things like that, so it's sort of like absorbing inspiration, looking at other art mediums, whether it's browsing Pinterest, going on Behance, Instagram, ArtStage, like all these things where you can kind of absorb other people's work and creative work and kind of see what other people are doing in the space, often leads to inspiration, which then leads to your next idea. It kind of helps motivate you going into that next idea, because you see something that like, wow, I really want to have a go at creating something similar, or that's just given me a great idea for something, seeing this person's work, so now I've got the motivation to go and make my own thing or work on that project that I've been putting off. I like to do this a lot. So as I said, watching the F1 show, I play a lot of video games in my free time, kind of like a way to unwind for me. I also spend a lot of my time, I browse Instagram a lot, looking at photography. I go on Pinterest. That's a great place actually I do a little bit of woodworking here and there, so Pinterest is great for looking at other woodworking projects and things that people have made and inspiration in that. Behance is great for graphic design work, and I use ArtStation as well. That's a great place for people that work in the games industry, post their concept art, their 3D art. Great place of inspiration. Real, like, more often than not, I'll spend an evening browsing there, and then I just want to attack 3D work again. So I find absorbing inspiration, like looking at other people's work and taking it in that way, is a great great way to kind of kickstart your motivation for a project. And that kind of leads me into my third and final point, which is exploring other creative avenues. Now, if you're like me, you're not just a graphic designer, you might not be just a photographer. I like to call myself a creative because I have a lot of creative avenues that I like to explore, different aspects of being creative. So I do photography, I do graphic design, I do 3D design, I do woodworking, which some people might not necessarily instantly think of a creative field, but when you're coming up with a design for a piece of furniture and then taking the time to make it, it's a similar process to sculpting. So that's definitely a creative outlet for me. Leaning off the second point about like looking at social medias and stuff, I've recently, from looking at Instagram accounts like Pete's Pirate Life, which is Pete McKinnon's like product brand, I would guess. His photography on that account really inspired me to explore flat lay photography and product photography. And recently I've been playing around with it and I've been having so much fun. And it's kind of like a whole new avenue of photography that I've sort of discovered, and got so much more motivation to shoot and take pictures. And that leads into my other projects. So like just generally taking photography, I'm more inspired to have my camera out and about and doing things and explore different things with it. Just that motivation of then editing the photos, and that bleeds into wanting to do graphic design projects. It kind of all just like layers on top. So I'm not saying like one of these tips will help you. I think a combination of all three kind of builds up that motivation again and keeps it topped up. I see it as a tank, especially with creativity. If you just work on project, don't take breaks, don't take time to absorb other people's work or other creative things like TV shows or games, if you're not exploring new skills, like that tank of creative juice or energy, whatever you want to call it, will drop and drop and drop, and you'll hit that point of no project ideas, I'm not motivated to make the next project, or you're struggling, you're in kind of a rut. That's why I feel like a combination of these three, consistently doing these different tips, will help keep that creative tank topped up. If you're struggling with your next project idea, these are the sort of things that help me stay motivated. If you haven't already, smash that like button. I appreciate it, I really do. Been loving making these videos. Got plenty more to come. I will catch you in next week's video. No, scrap that. Scrap. God. I swear I messed up the intro so many times. And the outro, and I'm getting better. But damn, it's a good job video editing software exists so I can cut all of them out.